Hello, this is Rapid Recap. I'm going to discuss the science fiction action film Outlander today. There will be spoilers. Watch out. The film begins with a gigantic spaceship crashing on Earth in the year 800 AD. The animals nearby are startled by the crash. Soon, two humanoid figures in sophisticated spacesuits emerge from the debris. One of them pulls his obviously injured friend to the shore. After removing his own helmet, he faints nearly instantly and experiences fleeting flashbacks of the past. A few hours later, the spaceman awakens to discover that his partner had passed away. Out of nowhere, he hears a robotic call. Then the spaceman discovers his AI computer floating in the lake, stranded. He swiftly gets the machine back and tells it to download all of the information about this planet that is available. The spaceman then receives all of the info through his eyes when the computer opens a protrusion. After this, the man digs a cemetery for his departed co-worker and starts exploring the nearby woodland. Before long, he discovers a whale carcass beside a demolished and deserted hamlet. The spaceman now feels as though something is watching him. He flees the scene, but a horseback rider stops him and renders him senseless. He is then brought to a Viking village that is close by. King Hrothgar is teaching his little daughter Freya how to fight with a sword in the vast hall in the middle. She informs her father that she will not wed Wulfric, a claimant to the throne, who is her suitor. When Wulfric arrives, Freya exits the hallway. Then, Hrothgar and Wulfric discuss a terrible attack that destroyed a nearby settlement. As it happens, Wulfric discovered the spaceman while looking into what had prompted the attack. Despite his captivity, the Viking does not believe he is a member of any known village. In the meantime, the villagers are shown the hostage and are astounded by his attire. Later, Wulfric questions the man inside a shack. The spaceman responds that it is Kainan when he asks for his name. He also makes up the story that he is traveling to hunt on an island in the north. The men clearly don't trust him and believe he assaulted the neighboring community. After that, they leave Kainan for the time being and bind him to a wooden pole. Freya enters the hut out of the blue. We find out that she has been asked by Wulfric to treat the prisoner's wounds. Hrothgar and Wulfric discuss the raid on the neighboring village again that night. The king commands his soldiers to track out Gunnar, the village head who was destroyed. He wants to be clear that the attack was not carried out by them. When Freya asks Kainan, back in the hut, if he planned the attack, he strongly denies it. While they converse, Kainan breaks away and knocks Freya unconscious. Just as he turns to run, a guard honks, signaling an impending enemy assault on the settlement. Assuming that Gunnar is here to exact revenge, all of the Vikings jump to action. To their complete dismay, however, they discover that the enemy has already gained entry inside the village. They are unaware that it is an extraterrestrial predator that is rapidly attacking and murdering a number of locals. Kainan, who appears to be aware of what is going on, begins pursuing the beast nearby, but it is too late. The enigmatic creature seizes a guard and takes him to the wooden wall's edge. Kainan calls out to the beast, Moorwen, and is ready to pursue it, but he is once more taken prisoner by the Vikings. After that, they chastise him and chain him to a rock. The following day, Hrothgar is waiting for him in the large hall. Kainan responds that he was chasing a beast called Moorwen when the king lets the stranger give his version of events. It used amazing lights on its tail to entice its target after attacking his people. Additionally, Kainan admits that he unintentionally led the Moorwen to this settlement, but Hrothgar cuts him off and laughs at the ridiculousness of the whole tale. Kainan pleads for the opportunity to accompany the Vikings, knowing that they would pursue the source of the earlier attack. The Vikings and Kainan, who has been granted his own horse, depart the village shortly after to search for the assailant. On the journey, Kainan is offered some mead by a smith named Boromir, but he spits it out. He doesn't want his beer if Sean Bean isn't playing him. After a while, Wulfric suggests that several exploration groups be formed after noticing multiple corpses nearby. Despite Kainan's strong objections, the king gives his warriors the command to look about in pairs. Then, as they continue into the woodland, Hrothgar and Boromir come across a severed horse skull. Another couple makes the stupid decision to enter a cave after discovering burnt corpses outside. After a few minutes, frightful screams from the cave fill the entire jungle. In order to save their fellow villagers, all of the Vikings immediately gather close to the cave's entrance and dash inside. They soon encounter a gigantic bear, who launches an unrivaled assault on them. 2 more Vikings are torn to pieces during the ensuing fierce battle, but Kainan's courage allows the party to stab the bear several times, ultimately killing it. Following this incident, Hrothgar grants Kainan freedom as a token of appreciation for his valor. After that, the hamlet celebrates the triumph against the bear with a feast. During the festivities later that evening, Kainan dresses in Viking attire and is seated beside the king. Wulfric challenges the newcomer to a game called Shields because he is a little envious of his rapid ascent in society. In it, a number of guys are shown constructing a passage using just their shields. Before balancing their way forward on top of the shields, the competitors must climb on them. Following several competitive pirouettes, Kainan eventually topples Boromir, but he gracefully assists his rival in getting back up without seeming haughty. It's clear today that the two guys have developed a mutual trust. Freya greets Kainan as he exits the Great Hall and expresses gratitude for his assistance with her father's expedition. Gunnar's troops suddenly attack the village, cutting off their chat. Following a fierce battle between the two parties, Kainan and Freya both take out a few adversaries. In contrast, Hrothgar meets Gunnar, a large, muscular, and incredibly arrogant man. He nearly beats Hrothgar's head to a pulp after knocking him down, but Kainan steps in just in time. Gunnar's soldiers tackle him and remove him just as he gathers himself to launch a counterattack. They declare that it is time to withdraw because they have lost this battle. Gunnar accuses Hrothgar of killing his family and people before the invading party quickly departs. Extremely flammable whale fat oil is poured into a pit that has been dug several meters deep. After driving a number of posts into the ground and covering it with loose mud, the entire building finally resembles another hut. Once everything is in place, Kainan shares a bowl of stew with Freya and then reveals a sinister secret. His people are a highly developed race that has conquered other worlds. They quickly reach the planet of the Moorwens after extending their territory far and wide. They used advanced weaponry and bombs to eradicate every organism there, just like they did everywhere else. To gain control of the area, the surviving Moorwens were hunted down. He and his family were granted a spot to live on the planet in return for their ability to exterminate the Moorwens. Kainan had to depart for a new mission at some point following the victories. When he discovered that one of the Moorwens had survived the genocide, he had only been gone a short while. It destroyed his people's colony and then hid in the vents of his spacecraft. This is the same Moorwen that is currently wreaking havoc on the village. Freya reminds Kainan that he shouldn't be too hard on himself because he is the one who made the mistake. You are redeemable, just like Vegeta was. She also lends him her family's sword for the impending conflict to help him feel more upbeat. The warriors open the doors that evening, and Wulfric and Kainan go outside to await the beast's arrival. They wait patiently, unable to see much because of the light snow and darkness. The Moorwen is directly in front of them when Kainan throws a torch into the trees. They seduce the beast and hasten back to the settlement as a result. They enter the hut, step gingerly upon the poles they have dug out, and come out the other side. The beast falls into the flaming liquid after following the two of them into the hut. A few seconds later, there is a huge explosion as the archers fire many flaming arrows into the hut. A fresh, smaller Moorwen enters the settlement through a well, as everyone is taken aback by the explosion's magnitude. When Freya and her father confront the beast in an attempt to save everyone, the old monarch suffers a deadly wound. More irate than before, the first Moorwen emerges from the fire. Together, Wulfric and Kainan choose to assault, but the monster is too strong for them. The invincible creature seizes a peasant and charges back into the forest's shadows. Fearing another assault, the entire village departs the next morning. Wulfric, the new king, is informed by Kainan that they must battle the monster together. Both of them recruit a few men to descend the well from which the infant Moorwen was born. However, Kainan's primary goal is to create new weapons, this time using stronger materials. He brings Freya and Wulfric to the lake where he crashed so he can dive down and retrieve some things. When Kainan starts his underwater search, he soon locates his ship's wreckage. From his home planet, he snatches a massive chunk of metal that is more pliable, lighter, and stronger. He discovers, however, that the boat they were on has been wrecked when he reaches the surface. Freya is nowhere to be seen, but an unconscious Wulfric is floating on a nearby piece of wood. Kainan and Wulfric make their way back to the village. Additionally, he hands the metal fragment to Boromir, who uses it to create a new sword. Now that everything is prepared, the Viking company descends the well and, to their surprise, emerges into a vast system of caverns beneath the surface. When Freya awakens in a pitch-black tunnel, she discovers that she is in the monster's corpse nest. As she glances around, she notices the infant Moorwen eating a corpse close by. Then, without attacking her, the beast turns its head. Rather, it appears to have identified the existence of other intrusions. Meanwhile, the infant Moorwen shows up at the location as Kainan's troop tries to advance covertly. It kills Boromir in a flash. It might have been Sean Bean. However, because of their vast numbers, the other humans are able to kill it. Freya, who is nearby, hears the disturbance and cries for Kainan. He hears her, but so does Moorwen, her mother, who had been tending to her wounds from the previous explosion. Freya is soon reunited with Kainan and Wulfric, and the three of them swiftly depart the shadowy caverns. On a mountainside near a cliff, they all arrive at the base of a waterfall. Mother Moorwen returns inside and finds her child's lifeless corpse covered in several bruises. She apparently loses her mind over this. Later, as the remaining group is attempting to flee, Mother Moorwen unexpectedly attacks Wulfric. Knowing that this is the end for him, the newly anointed king fights valiantly, hacking at the beast's face while suffering a vicious bite in return. The Moorwen eventually tosses Wulfric's body in Kainan's direction. Kainan uses his sword to re-enter the cave since there is no other way out, and a bloody struggle breaks out. With tremendous speed, the beast launches vicious hit-and-run strikes. However, Kainan succeeds in severing a tentacle from its tail. Our hero is going to be crushed by Mother Moorwen until Freya unexpectedly shows up. When she attacks the beast, Kainan has the ideal opportunity to charge at it at full speed. Both of them eventually plummet outside the cave, with its claws pressing into Kainan's left arm, which is still perched on the ledge. The beast clings to life. In a moment of pure inspiration, Kainan draws his sword and slashes the beast's hand off. Following this deadly battle with the alien beast, Kainan makes the decision to remain in the Viking community. He chooses to become the new king of the village, settle down with Freya. Thanks for watching Rapid Recap. Turn on notifications, subscribe for more videos like this one, and support the channel by leaving a like. I appreciate you watching.